Now, as we look at our skulls, right? Okay, first thing, we always start with the eyes. Okay? We've got tape coming around, so we'll be taping our tracing paper over the top so we can keep it stable while we're working. First thing, we always start with the eyes. Now, there's measurements that we use while we're working, okay? And that is the eye. The eye is the measurement that we always use in portraiture. And when we start using that eye, the face starts measuring out very, very interesting, okay? So, if I do this, and I take a measurement of my eye, okay? Right there, that's my measurement. And I take this, and I put it right here. There is one eye width between this eye and this eye, okay? And then these eyes are the same, okay? Now, from here to the side of my face, and from here to the side of my face, this measurement is half an eye, okay? So across my face, there are 4 eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I can use this measurement and I can put my facial features on any size piece of paper I choose. Okay? So, if I'm going to use this piece of paper right here, right? One side to one side. All I have to do is take this and decide 4 across. Now I know how big an eye is. So then I can do half, 1, 2, 3, and a half. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so I know there's 1 eye, 2 eyes, 3 eyes, and a half an eye on each side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Because I know that there is 4 eyes across that measurement. I can take that measurement and I can expand and contract that to any size piece of paper I have. So if I'm given an assignment that says to make eyes that go all the way across, from here to here, all I have to do is break this down into 4 equal parts. Okay? Once I break it down to 4 equal parts, I know how big that eye is going to be. Once I know how big that eye is, then half an eye, 1 eye, the middle of the nose, the other eye, half the face. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, what does that mean as we're going with the skull? Well, we know as we're looking at it, right? Okay, we've got an eyeball. It's a ball. It sits within that socket. If you poke around on your face, you can feel the bottom of that right there, right? And that is where the top, right? So your eyebrows are where the top of that is at. This is where the top, this is gooey muscle part around the eyeball. So the eyeball must sit within that skeletal structure that you're seeing. Can somebody let me borrow that image for a second? Okay, so this is where our eyebrows come to. This is down here, okay? So our eyeballs must sit somewhere within here. It is a ball, it goes round. But yet we also have to figure out, okay, half, it's the same distance, and then, so we're gonna have a little bit of a finagling to do, okay? So let's get started. We've got an eyeball, okay? And then it sinks down a little bit. We've got this little shape here where the eye goes. So we have the eyeball, right? And then we have an eyelid. Now we don't see all of the ball, right? Because our eyelid comes down. Bottom of our eyelid comes up. But we know the eyeball sits in that socket somehow. Okay? That shape comes down. Okay? Gazuta. Now the fold. The fold. Well, that's probably up there where the eyeball is at, maybe. Does some people have the fold, some people don't have a fold? You'll have to decide, does your person have a fold, does it not have a fold? Here's another little interesting fact. Now, these corners, for this corner and for the other side of the eye, these corners line up on the same picture plane.
Easier said than done.
For most people. These corners will line up on the same picture plane, okay? For most people. These and these do not necessarily line up on the same picture plane. Does that make sense?
Sometimes they're tilted.
Sometimes they're tilted. Sometimes these will be lower than these. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? Yep. Got that? Okay? Sometimes it also depends on age, ethnicity, a lot of factors. Okay? So that is what makes a portrait. You need to pay attention to the person you're looking at. Okay?
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
There's
so-
a straight line between those little nubs?
Yeah, if you look at someone, these two lines
Okay.
will line up on the same horizontal. So if you held up a ruler to my face, these two lines would line up, these 2 points, and these 2 points, these outer points, would line up. But these and these would not necessarily be on the same line. most of you got your eyes in. Still working on a few other things. Okay, so let's go down to the nose. Okay, so we've got our nose here. So, as we look at the nose down here, okay, as we look at it, as we line it back up, the outside of the nose, right, line it back up, it lines up to the inside of the eyes, right? So the outside of my nose lines up to the inside of my eyes.
In the middle, which is like the corner.
Just like the corner of my eyes.
Oh my God, everyone's seen.
Now that's me. That's me. Okay? But as we're looking at our skulls, that means this space is really right in here, isn't it? Okay, now if we go back to the eye and we go from the middle, right here, the middle, right here, middle of the bridge, right between the eyes. Okay, so we go back to the measurement of the eye and we go one eye down. And about, I don't know, smooch. What do you guys have? What's your measurement? What's the measurement on your faces? One eye. Give me a measurement. What do you got? From one eye, I got right here at the bulb of my nose. What do you guys got? What's your measurement?
So the nose is gonna be drawn, it's gonna come up a little bit, right?
So from one eye, so you now have your eyes in, you know how long from one, so now you know where the bulb of the nose goes to. At least if this was my face.
At the top of the.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Does that measure out for you guys? What are you guys measuring out? Kind of there too? Okay. So now we know how far down. So now we know where the structure of the nose is falling within this cavity.
Since the teeth are together, is this person's mouth?
I'll say that again.
Since the teeth are together, is he clenched teeth? Or I mean, is that how it naturally goes?
That's just how
When you
the
die?
it's just sitting there, so it's not really, there's no muscles to clench, so it's just sitting there.
So it's not necessarily a smile, it's just.
It's just there. Do you need me to do the nose again? Okay. It's a real simple shape. Whoop, whoop. Okay, looks like almost everybody's got their nose in. Okay, so we measured down. We're at one eye down here at the bulb of our nose. So let's continue down. So we go back to the eye. We go back to the bulb of the nose. That takes us right to the middle of the mouth. Okay? If we do it again, middle of the mouth takes us right to the bottom of the chin. Okay? So now you know how to break up the face. Now again, that is for my face. When you are measuring out someone else's face, you do the same thing, but you do it with their face. And you use their measurements, not mine. Okay? Because you're not doing a portrait of me, you're doing a portrait of them. Okay. Now, as you're looking at the face, the corners of the mouth, if you run those up, they come and match up with the irises of the eye. So now you know how wide the mouth is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we can start actually constructing where the mouth goes on our person. And from here, we can also start constructing the bottom of his jaw. Okay, a couple more things. We start poking around on our face. Okay? Tops of our ears. Run those across. What do they line up with? Eyes. Yeah, eyebrows. Mine eye line up with my eyebrows. So that means the top of the ears are all the way up here. Bottom of your ears. What does that line up with?
Top of your mouth.
Yeah, that lines up with my mouth. Okay? Bottom of the ears. Bottom of my ears. Line up with your nose? Okay? Mine lines up because, you know, years of wearing earrings that might elongate my ears. Lines up with my... I think you should go with this. Go with the old man, yeah. Give him some little eyes and... That's okay. Makes him all intelligent.
Don't say and stuff, it makes you sound dumb.
Yeah, whatever. Sense, yeah. It depends on the actual person. Oh, watch out, here we come, here we come.
Yeah.
My personal photographer, my videographer here, here we go. Okay, now, hair. Okay, now as we're looking at our guy, right? Some people are opting for bald. But if we look, okay, the eyes are actually halfway in between the middle of the skull. So there's just as much between here and here as there is between here and the top of the skull. Okay? Here and here and here and here. So as we look at this, now my hairline, luckily as I've gotten older, is coming forward. Some people, as they've gotten older, it's it's falling backwards. Okay? So you need to make a decision. Where is their hairline at? Okay? But, okay, I've got that much space between the middle of my eyes and the beginning of my hairline. So I can take this measurement, start right here, okay, from the middle of my lips to the middle of my eyes. Does anybody remember what that measurement is?
2 eyes.
Excellent. That is 2 eyes. So I know that I can start measurement here, 1, 2. That is where the beginning of my hairline would start for me, right? So you need to decide, where does the hair start for your person? Now, my secret for doing hair, dun dun dun, is to understand that it is a group of individuals that clump together to form a mass. That is the basis of hair, all right? So what I always do, how I approach it, is to understand that it is individuals and clumps. So that is what I always look for. I look for the clumps. So I'm looking at you for the clumps. So when I look for the clumps, okay, and then I see another clump. Okay, so I'm looking for clumps. Okay, I'm not standing here doing this. Okay, I look for the clumps of hair. And then I look for the individual, like on the other side of your face, where this one is doing that. Okay? So I look for the massive clumps, and then I look for the interesting individuals. Does that make sense? Huh? Good, very good. Okay? All right. Okay. Composition. Composition is how you place things on your paper. Composition has gone through many changes throughout history, okay? And we use compositional devices to actually help us to figure out how to put things on the paper quickly, okay? Now I'm going to give you a very quick and easy compositional device, and that is what we will be using here for the rest of the class that we've got. And that is basically, I call it the rule of threes. It's 1/3, whatever, okay? So you have your piece of paper. Okay. Couple of things. If your paper is long, up and down, short, this way, that is called portrait. If you have turned your paper so that it is long this way and short this way, that is called landscape. Okay? That does not mean that you cannot have your portrait on a piece of paper that is landscape. It just gives you an idea of which direction your paper is going. Okay? So, the rules of composition that we'll be using for here on your paper, and I need a new marker. Okay, we break our paper into thirds. 1, 2, 3. We break our paper into thirds. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now we have 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you do your composition, when you figure out what is important on your image that you are going to be drawing next, I want you to put what is important on one of these points. 1, 2, 3, 4. It does not matter to me what point you use. Okay? Now, I've been looking around and kind of spying on some of your images. A lot of you have images with multiple people on them, which is fine, but a lot of you have a lot of stuff going on around them. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about zooming in on only the people, cutting out all the things around them. So I want you to reformat your images, okay? And when you do that, I want you to zero in and I want you to put the most important thing to you on one of these 4 points. Does that make sense?
So like the ear, if I want to put an ear on the pointer, that's what you mean?
Or the sparkle of an eye, or the glint of an eyeglass. Something that really catches your eye about that portrait. Yes? No? Do we have a general consensus vote? Kinda? Okay, she says she has to go, but I'm gonna check with her and I'll talk to the rest of you about this and we'll take a look at your images so I can make sure that everybody knows what we're talking about, okay?